Rioters rampaging through Democrat-run cities, falsely labeling them as peaceful protesters. Biden has now formed an unholy alliance with the most extreme and dangerous elements of the radical left. You know that, with Crazy Bernie and everyone. And by the way, you know who's further left than Crazy Bernie? Kamala. Kamala. Kamala.
That was President Trump in North Carolina yesterday, again slamming Democrats and the far left for these violent riots and looting that's taken many of our cities by surprise this summer. Biden set to speak again in Michigan in about an hour. We'll see what he says. Let's talk more about the 2020 campaign trail and welcome in Trump 2020 senior advisor Lara Trump. She's also the co-host of The Right View and President Trump's daughter-in-law. Lara, thanks so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you so much. Great to be on with you.
So what we saw in Florida yesterday and what we saw in North Carolina starting to get back and resemble somewhat of what we saw on the 2016 trail, but lots of enthusiasm from the Trump support team there and from the supporters in the crowd. So talk to us about what you're seeing when it comes to the contrasts on the campaign trail for the Biden campaign and the Trump campaign.
Well, I don't think they could be much more different. I mean, you see the enthusiasm out there for this president. And obviously, you played the clip there from the rally. We are doing, we're trying to do several events a week at least with the president. But what everybody is also saying out there, I think, is that there are boat parades that are organically happening, boat parades, truck parades, all across this country, flying Trump flags. And it's basically like an every weekend thing. Meanwhile, I barely see any Biden signs whenever I'm out campaigning across the country. I would say when you're talking about pure enthusiasm, it is through the roof and off the charts for President Donald Trump, and somewhere probably down in the basement where Joe Biden has been hiding for some time for his campaign. So I don't think they could be more different. We're going to be doing events from now until Election Day, not only the president, but I'm out on the road. We have a Women for Trump bus tour on a bright pink bus all across this country, a Team Trump bus tour. So we're out there every day, and I'll tell you, people are very excited about voting for Donald Trump.
Well, Lara, where are you headed next?
So I will be this week in Iowa, Nebraska, and Minnesota. Next week, we have a bus tour through Florida. The week after, a bus tour through North Carolina. So we don't stop. We keep going every single day. Yeah, nonstop from now until November 3rd. Stay safe out there. Meanwhile, let's talk about this Nobel Peace Prize nomination for the president. Of course, this coming on the heels of this big peace deal between Israel and the UAE. The president also getting a lot of praise for his commitment to withdrawing troops from the Middle East here. Now, this is a big deal. What's the talk in the Trump family about this? Well, we're obviously so proud, and I think this is very warranted. The reality is this president has been able to do things that presidents in the past, many before him, claimed that they would do. This is yet another example when you see the deal reached between Israel and the UAE of what this president is capable of doing. Not only is he trying to end the endless wars around the world that the United States has been involved with, but he literally is trying to bring peace around the world. And you see that it's actually working. Now, I'm sure the Democrats out there and the fake news media is working overtime to try and discredit him somehow on this. But this is absolutely incredible. And I think if anyone has actually been paying attention to what this president has done over the past 3.5 years in office, whether we're talking about this, whether we're talking about actually sitting down with Kim Jong-un to talk about a denuclearized Korean peninsula, making sure that China is not, taking advantage of us anymore on trade. These are very, very important things and really incredible, especially to see how quickly he got them done. So we couldn't be more proud of him. I mean, it's not really surprising. It is somewhat disappointing, though, to see President Trump get more cooperation from some of these world leaders than he gets from the mayors of these Democrat-run cities. But let's leave that aside, because I also want to talk about, something that a lot of people are anticipating in President Trump's list of potential Supreme Court nominees. This is the big deal on the 2016 campaign trail. And of course, we saw two presidential nominees make it to the bench, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. I know you might not be able to give us too much insight on this, but Lara, tell us why this list of potential Supreme Court nominees is important to the campaign. Well, look, the reality is you're right. We saw that in his first term in office, this president was able to appoint 2 Supreme Court justices. Likely the next president, we hope that it will be Donald Trump again for 4 more years. will get to do the same. It's likely that there will be an appointment of one, possibly two more Supreme Court justices. And as we know, especially in today's kind of overamped environment that everybody seems to be fighting with one another, and everything is sort of, at a very high level. Oftentimes things end up with the Supreme Court. So they ultimately make the calls on what happens in this country. And I think whenever you look at some of the things that the Democrats stand for, like these very late term abortion, 40-week abortions, things like that, this is really where it all ends up and where it all falls, at the Supreme Court's feet. So we would love to see the president be able to appoint one or two more Supreme Court justices. And I think it's something that I've heard from a lot of people, that this might be their one thing that they really turn out to the polls and vote on. Yeah. So I know everyone's excited to get that list and see what the president has to say on it.
Yeah, the economy is always important, of course, but these issues are really bolstering the campaign. The peace in the Middle East breaking out. Also, you have Supreme Court nominees, a big issue for a lot of folks. Now, Lara, that's what I call the business portion of the interview. Let's talk about the fun portion of the interview now, and that's your new documentary. The Trump I Know. It gives us an inside look at the Trump family, the Trump administration, and the various Trump businesses, and the women who work behind the scenes. And in front of the cameras, like yourself here, we see Kayleigh McEnany. We also see Kimberly Guilfoyle and yourself. So, there's a lot of intimate parts of your life you share in this documentary. Tell us what your favorite kind of revelation in this documentary is.
Well, I think there's no secret that the media coverage of this president is 92% negative, that the mainstream media, by and large, tries to portray Donald Trump in a certain way. But to those of us who actually know him, to those of us in the family and the campaign and the administration that have gotten to work alongside of him professionally, have gotten to be part of the family, we see a very different Donald Trump, and that is really what this documentary is all about. I was so honored to be a part of it, and yeah, you get to see me with my kids, with my dogs, really with our whole family, but it talks about the president in a way that you never hear, and it really reflects on him as a human being instead of just this figure that we know is out there fighting every day for the American people and doing a great job at it. But I think it humanizes him quite a bit. I don't think there will be a lot of folks in the mainstream media who want you to see this, because it might change some people's minds about voting for Donald Trump, and I think they're going to come on board after they see this. So the Trump I Know, really excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, God forbid people actually see the president as a man and not just their adversary. And by the way, too, Lara, speaking of your dogs, we did cover your latest rescue. Good on you, by the way, for rescuing that dog that was recovered by a soldier, I guess, and was slated to be flown back to Syria. And I was wondering, who would even pick up a dog if it was sent back to Syria? Nobody, right? It was going to die.
Yeah, the problem is nobody would have gotten that dog, and she probably would have been euthanized. But look, anyone that knows me knows I'm a crazy dog lady. I would probably have 50 dogs if my husband wouldn't kick me out of our house. But I was so humbled to play a small role in saving this dog and getting her back with her owner, the soldier, who she should have rightly been with. So very, very humbled to be a part of that.
Well, send us some pics. I want an update on that story. I want to make sure that dog, we sure got to a loving home, which is great news. And great work on the documentary. And congratulations on the campaign. Again, stay safe out there. We know it's a long way to go. November 3rd is just about 54 days away, but it's going to be the longest 54 days probably of your life. So good luck, Lara. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Newsmax TV is now America's fastest growing cable news channel. We give you the real news you need. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up. If you like this video, share it with your friends. Newsmax TV streams live on YouTube for free. Newsmax TV, real news for real people.